Hey guys, it's Lisa Ely with Growing Enthusiasm. Welcome to another Kellogg Garden live-ish segment. I'm actually online with you guys right now and I'm available to answer any questions or share any ideas that you have for getting your kids excited about being in the garden, especially during the fall season, which is what we are in the middle of right now. I will tell you, a lot of people say, oh, the fall season, it's so tough to go out. It gets cold, it's freezing. My kids don't even want to garden. If that sounds like something that is an excuse for you and your family, think again. There's always a time to get outside and explore the garden. Whether it's your big gardens or a small garden, or even kind of peeking and being a nosy neighbor and looking at what your neighbors have. You always want to show kids that there is something to learn in the garden, and there always is. So today, while you guys are all joining us, I actually have a lot of fun ideas for studying leaves, projects to do with the fall leaves, and some ways to kind of decorate things for your fall holidays, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. There's a lot of great ideas and things that you can do with your kids that doesn't cost any money, and chances are you have all the materials you need to do these right there in your house, and you get them touching and playing with leaves. But first, I just want to talk a little bit about the fall garden. I would love to know what you have planting. And if you aren't planting a fall garden, maybe I can help give you some ideas about how you can do it. One thing that we do as a family is in the fall when it starts to get cold, even though I'm in Southern California, I like to teach the kids all about the gardens. So actually in a fall garden or even a winter garden, it's really a good idea to do raised garden beds for those types of gardens. We're not going to be doing a plethora of corn and everything, but just for some leafy vegetables like spinach or lettuce or even some little broccoli. My son loves to grow broccoli. We actually use kind of horse troughs, and we do a raised garden bed. The reason being in the fall is because the weather gets so cold, and you want to teach kids about this. It's kind of relating it to something that they understand. Plants and the roots are in the soil. When it's down in the ground, it kind of gets harder in the winter because we have freezing temperatures at night, and the roots are like freezing that they don't want to grow, and that's why a lot of times you can't grow successfully in the colder months. But if you use a raised garden bed, you can teach them a little bit about how a smaller space is easier to warm up. So all of the soil, it's kind of like when they're freezing and they go run up to their bedrooms and they put a cozy warm blanket around them. They're kind of up, they're not just out in general. They've wrapped themselves in a little blanket and they've gotten so cozy and warm. And that's what happens when you have a little raised garden bed with healthy soil in it to kind of work with your leafy vegetables for the winter. So they have shallow root systems. So lettuce, your spinaches, anything that's kind of that fall and winter, you might want to try it, or even in a container. So that's one way to get them excited about still gardening when it's cold out. So another way to get them excited about the garden, especially in the fall or winter weather, is having them explore and play with leaves. Yay! If you have a lot of leaves in your yard, go let them rake them up, and you know what? Go ahead, pile them up and let them jump in and throw all the leaves around. It's still being part of the garden. You may think it's more of a chore, but to children, playing in a pile of leaves is so much fun. And if they're allowed to enjoy the leaves that have fallen off the tree, they're going to enjoy helping the trees grow more. So while you're doing chores, block out extra time. Let them go outside, play with the leaves, throw them around. But while you're doing that, teach them a little bit about leaves. Do you guys really know a lot about leaves? I know we all look at them, we know they change color, we know there's chlorophyll in it, and there's all the photosynthesis. But what really is happening inside a leaf? If you get kids to start exploring that and thinking about it, they will love the science behind gardening so much more. So I have a couple tools that I highly recommend. If you don't have them, it's a great holiday stuffer for a stocking or a little gift for someone that you want to get excited about gardening. The first is the magnifying glass. I know if you guys have watched before, this is one of my favorite tools, especially to a young child, because they get to go and they start exploring a little bit more. I don't even know if you can see that or not, but they get to kind of look at the leaves. Ask the kids, hey, how does the leaf look different when you're looking at it with your eyes versus when you're looking at it with the magnifying glass. Ask them to look at the different parts of the leaves. There is the stem and the vein. There's some fancy words in here. If you have a more advanced gardener, you have, or I think a lot of the 5th grade, they are actually learning about xylem and phloem. Those are the little tubes inside the leaf that actually carry the nutrients and the water from the roots up. That's the xylem. And then the phloem carries all the food and all the yummy goodness that comes into the plant. And I always think of phloem, even though it's PH, it's the F sound. So if you've got a child who's actually getting stressed out about their science lessons and they don't understand how to remember what phloem is, phloem equals food, the phloem. So we just went through that in my house. So that's why I'm right in the middle of all that. But teaching them about the leaves and what's inside. Another great tool to get and think about for the holiday is just one of these pocket microscopes. I am not being sponsored by, this one's by Carson. I picked it up on Amazon. It's probably about 10 bucks. But this is a field microscope, and this is a really handy tool, and I encourage you, especially in the fall and winter, when you want to get the kids outside gardening, but you're not quite sure how, because the plants aren't growing as fast. Get them a little microscope to take out. Like I said, this is only about $10, and if you haven't used one before, they're really easy. You just have to, it comes with the, you put batteries in, put the little light on. This is the top hole, and then the plastic is the bottom. And you want to teach kids this. They don't know how to use these. First time you use this, they try to start using it as a binocular. Ooh, I can't see anything. But you need to tell them, no, it's like a microscope, and you're going to put it flat on the leaf. And I'll put a picture down in the comments below of what happens. But when they start looking out there, you tell them to start looking. And there's actually inside the leaves, there's something that I always love seeing. You can actually see the bigger holes of the cells, but it's called a stomata. It's such a cool thing when the kids start seeing it and they go, ooh, I see it. The stomata sometimes is a bigger circle, sometimes they're smaller, but the stomata is how the plant releases water. So if I were actually to put a baggie around a plant on a tree, the baggie in about 24 hours would fill up with water, and that's because the water is releasing out of the stomata. It's really a cool project, and it's kind of like the leaves are sweating, but the stomata is also where they get our carbon dioxide. When we blow out, and I always tell kids, hey, take a deep breath, blow it out. Do you see all the leaves planting? Or all the leaves planting, all the leaves smiling? They're smiling because we give them carbon dioxide, and in turn, the leaves give us oxygen. So that is a really important thing for kids to learn and understand and appreciate. If you want them to enjoy being in the garden, they need to understand it. And so by just telling them these little nuggets or giving them tools like this to play with in the garden, they're going to be more curious and more excited to go outside and explore. For today's segment, I actually asked my kids to go outside and find me a whole bunch of leaves from the neighborhood and pick me up a collection. And I sent them on a challenge. I said, go find a leaf that's the size of your pinky finger. Find me a leaf the size of your head. This is one leaf that they found, which is really funny. This big, I think it's a bird of paradise, which is very common in California. It's actually Los Angeles's main flower, the bird of paradise. But this is a leaf from it, and I think my son apparently thought I said, instead of the size of your head, he thought I said torso. So he spent almost an hour hunting for a leaf the size of his torso. This is a day where it's kind of cold, we're being lazy, it's in the morning, you know, all the hustle and bustle. But the kids, all of a sudden, if I gave them an adventure to go on, they were excited and they were outside exploring. It didn't have to necessarily be just in our garden. But I asked them to get a whole bunch of leaves so I could share with you some of my favorite projects to do crafting wise to help decorate or get us excited about the holidays. And one of the first ones is this, and you guys will probably love it, especially if you have a little one, but even my daughter who's 12, love this. Do you see it? Gobble, gobble, gobble. It's a leaf turkey. It's really fun. It doesn't take too long to do. So this is something while you're even cooking a big meal or family's starting to come and the kids are doing the I'm bored thing, tell them to go get leaves and you're gonna show them how to make a leaf turkey. And all you need to do that, isn't he cute? Gobble, gobble. I love him. What you need are some cardboard circles. It's what I have right here. I just cut them off of a box that we got something in. Just different size circles. They're not even, I didn't even do a hand circle. If you want to do perfect size circles, you could use the lids to your plastic containers maybe, or even a coffee cup, and do different sizes. And then you just have the kids, I use hot glue, but you could also use just your standard white glue. And have the kids make us add leaves to the outside of this. So I'm gonna do this just quickly here for you, and I'm gonna pick some of my leaves. I like using the large leaves for the backside. Can you guys see that? For the backside of the turkey. So you're gonna have some really big leaves, and I've got some examples. Look at that one that they found. Nice and big, and you just glue right onto the cardboard. There we go. And then basically you get the idea, I think. You just keep gluing the leaves all the way around, and then you add another layer. You glue a different color leaf. It was funny, I sent my kids out. I forget sometimes, we're in Southern California. We don't have the change of colors in the leaves like so many places. And I was like, make sure you get me red leaves. They came back, the closest they could find were almost these purpley leaves from a neighbor's plum tree. And they did ask if they could cut them off, but that was fun. So you can see you add the different colors. And then on the head, all I did was wrap one big leaf. And then I have googly eyes laying around, but you could even draw the leaves or make little leaves and use twigs for the turkey's legs. And that's a really fun, simple activity to get the kids excited about leaves, have them playing, but it's a decoration that doesn't cost you anything. And then when you're all done, you know, these dry out. If you wanted to preserve them, there are ways, if you had the time, you could actually preserve the leaves by flattening them, and then you could either spray them with a couple coats of hairspray. If you have the aerosol kind, you just spray it over. You could use shellac or even a Mod Podge. You could, you know, take a brush and cover each leaf with that first. And in the comments, I'll actually put some instructions. I think you can also use glycerin. I know it's a part glycerin, part water. I'll go ahead and share some ways to preserve leaves. I typically don't preserve the leaves that we do activities with because I love the next year to do it again. So my intention is not to save this. I'll take pictures, we'll play with it. Maybe we'll do a turkey play or something at the table. But my idea is just to get them their hands working with the leaves, giving them something to do that's not on their tablets, and having something fun that's related to the holiday. And I love all the fall leaves. So I love my turkey, and like I told you, my daughter who's 12 absolutely loved this, and she can't wait to get home. She's actually in school today, isn't that a bummer? But when she gets back home this afternoon, she made me promise that I would leave enough that she could actually do one of these for the table. So that is one great little thing you can do. Another is doing the leaf rubbing. When was the last time you guys actually took crayons and did a leaf rubbing? Do you remember doing that when you were really little? I don't even know, a lot of schools don't even do it as much anymore. But here's a placemat that I made, and it literally was just 2 leaves that I placed underneath the white piece of paper, and I used 3 different color crayons, and I just moved the same leaf around, and I filled up the entire sheet. And I'll put a picture of this in the comments below because it's really an awesome little project. And again, it keeps the kids busy. And what I love is when they are rubbing, let me put this right over here. When they're doing a leaf rubbing, they're seeing the texture of the leaf. They're actually taking that leaf. Let me get a good one here. I like doing 2 at a time, but I'm going to show you with one. Here's the same type of leaf that I use. And you just put it underneath the piece of paper. And I hope you guys can see this. And you just take that leaf and that crayon and you just cover it. And as they color over it, the veins start to pop out. And that's when you can start talking to kids. What are the veins for? Why does a leaf have veins? And that's actually a really fun way. It's the way the nutrients in the waters and everything in the science of the leaf gets to move around. So this is a really good way to create just decorative placemats for your friends and family. Other things that you can do with leaves, I have a lot of ideas, so I hope you guys are going to stick with me. I swear they're really fun and easy. one thing to do is just get a whole collection of leaves and write on them. I had the kids actually this morning, because we have friends coming over, I wanted to find out what are they thankful for. And I asked them, write on the leaves what you're thankful for. And literally we'd have freedom, family, YouTube, of course, right? Music. These are great things to just set on the table and just put them out there, and these become conversation starters. How many times do you sit at a table after you've been, cooking all day, and now you're so exhausted that it's almost awkward for conversations, or you have a lot of friends and new people? These are great conversation starters because you could just grab one. My daughter actually wrote eyesight on this. What a great thing to be appreciative for and thankful for is that she can go around and see things with her eyes. But this would start a whole conversation going, what if you couldn't see a leaf and you could only figure out what a leaf was like by touching it? How would it be different than what you see? And maybe you even take this leaf and pass it around and have everyone close their eyes and say, feel it and tell me something. How do you describe it? What is it about that leaf? You could also just draw in these. We have, I use paint markers or chalk markers, and there's just little designs, squiggle marks, and a fun way to have a collection of leaves with all these different things. You could also leave the leaves on the twig and then just make a nice centerpiece. These are just some bigger leaves. I actually have things that I'm thankful for in here. My husband, I have a coach, Coach Nathan, who one of my hobbies is dragon boat racing. Besides the love of gardening, I love to exercise and be on the water doing dragon boat paddling. Have any of you guys ever done that? Totally different than gardening, but I'm so appreciative of my teammates and my coach. So I put that on here. And again, if we have people that we don't really know over for dinner, or it's a whole new group of people, I get to talk a little bit about something else that they don't know about me. Of course, healthy soil, very thankful and appreciative of healthy soil. And definitely, it's an appropriate time to give a big shout out to Kellogg Garden for always inviting me to come in and share ideas that I have for gardening with the kids. And these are just fun little ideas I have for decorating with leaves for the holiday tables and getting kids excited about leaves. Here is a puppet leaf. Hello, happy Thanksgiving. I'm so excited. This is just literally a craft stick with a leaf that we found, and just glue it right on. Grab this leaf. You could make a whole puppet show while the turkey's in the oven with leaves, and then do a I'm thankful for play with the kids. It's silly, but it's fun. It's arts and crafts. We don't have enough arts or science in schools anymore, in my opinion. So this is a great way to add to their lessons. So definitely make a leaf puppet. If you do, share the pictures. I want to see, or even take a video. That might even be more fun. I'll get my kids to do one, and I'll share that video with you over at my website, LisaEleyGardens.com. So you knew the .com. Why do I always do that? Do you guys always find that you say things and then you go, duh, they all know .com. But I guess that's part of doing live-ish. A couple other ideas I have is this. Now this is something, it's just a leaf mobile. And I am going to put a picture of it hanging up in my entryway. It seems so simple, but this literally is just a twig with a bunch of leaves tied to it. And I tied the leaves to fishing wire, and it's awesome. It just takes the fishing wire and you hang the leaves on, and now I have an amazing kind of architectural little art piece to put on the wall. It could go on my fireplace mantle. It could actually hang in a window as a nice little window decor. What I love is that I'm teaching the kids that nature is beautiful. There's a lot of great things about it, but also that just because it's the holidays does not mean we need to be stressed out and spend a lot of money to create decorations. So that's a really fun idea, just a leaf mobile. Here is a little picture frame. This is a picture frame where I don't have anything in it. So all I did was I used the glue and put some ribbon in it, and then I'm gluing the leaves that I like right to that ribbon. So I'm gonna do one more here and show you just with a little hot glue right on the back of the leaf. Again, you could use white glue, and then there, just put it on, And now this could be just a nice little decor to put in the bathroom or just again in the hallway. The kids could line them up all creatively. It's a nice way to showcase a leaf collection that they might have. You could also do a garland with this same idea. So I love it. I think it's nice, and instead of again spending $30, $40 at the home shop, you make your own. And kids will love this. They will come out and do something even more creative. The last couple things I don't have a lot more to show you, so thank you again, is I love glass plates. I know every time I do a party, and you guys may have seen my summer party ideas, was using glass plates. These are really inexpensive at one of the stores, and if you send me a message, I'll tell you which store I got them from. But all these is 2 glass plates. I just use it for place setting. So we went out, I picked a leaf, I wrote my name Lisa, and then stacked this, and now this will go on the table where I'm sitting. And what a nice way to invite and show everyone where they're sitting by just having something natural inside, and it looks beautiful. This was a painting that I think my son did a couple years ago. I did save it. Most of the artwork that's from nature I don't save, but this was fun because this is an example of just tracing a leaf. So all I did was trace a big leaf, and then we used our paints to paint it. So it's another way to be artsy with the leaves. The last thing is your table settings. And this is really fun. First of all, if you are heading over to someone's house and you go, oh, I don't know what to do. I know I always bring a bottle of wine, but if we have kids and family, I want to bring something a little bit more meaningful. I highly suggest just planting a little pot with some sage, some rosemary, and some thyme. And I'm going to share a great recipe for some cornbread that has those flavors. But again, it's sage, rosemary, and thyme. And just put them together in a pot. A lot of times the nurseries right now sell these 3 all together because these are also great flavors inside the turkey. But I just make a little, presentation with a little shopping bag. And how cute. I walk in and say, thank you for having us. I even had this little turkey stick that I can stick in there. I put a little bow on it, and it's something easy, nice. The kids could actually decorate. We could actually put things we're thankful for by gluing that right onto our bag, or their name, or just say thank you for friendship. And what a fun idea and a great little hostess gift to give to someone who might be hosting you. The last thing I wanted to show you was I asked the kids to put together a centerpiece just with things that they found around our yard. And this is what's great, is instead of spending so much money on going out and getting bouquets of flowers, all they did was they went and gone and cut. We had 1 baking pumpkin left. So isn't this beautiful? It's going to look so pretty on the table. But in here, they found a pine cone. They actually have some of my little starters. I have some garden class I'm teaching this week. So it looks like they put my rosemary in there, and they actually put twigs of rosemary. I'm going to kind of take this apart so you can see that there's nothing fancy. This is something they do the morning of. Look at that. That's just a branch that was taken off a couple of the trees, and they have some lantana flowers in here, the white flowers, and all they did was use coffee cups underneath. So this isn't even a planted centerpiece. It's just kind of placed in there. And the funny thing is, and I learned this a long time ago working with some top designers, there's supposed to be rules, how you put things in height, the numbers you do. I'm telling you, when you have kids and you ask them to go design a centerpiece like this, it will turn out better than you would have ever imagined. And it's because kids just like to have fun. They put it in there and they go, wow, that looks great. And at first you go, wait, we need something else taller. And then you go, no, if I ask the kids to do this, that's me asking them to do it and relinquishing my power, because as a parent, I know if I say do something and then I come back and I do it again because I didn't like the way they do it, we're not going to get them to do things anymore. So sometimes you have to let go of your own way of thinking. Like I would have put the pumpkin probably off to the side a little bit more and cut this. But I absolutely, once I said, you know what, I love what you guys did. Thank you so much. They had fun. And now they get to be proud and they get to feel like they're adding to the family dinner or our family event. So just find a little container that they can go put twigs in, and you'll see they'll come up with something. So I'd love to see what your kids come up with for your centerpiece. So I think that is all I have today. I hope you guys enjoy your holiday. Again, let me know if you have any comments or questions, something that you want to see me do. Put it in the comments below and we'll try to figure out how we can squeeze that in next time. I love that you guys stayed with us. Thank you for watching. Please share this with your friends. I think there's a lot of fun projects that teachers, parents, grandparents will love having, just kind of in their hip pocket to do anytime friends and family come over. So have a great day, happy holidays, happy fall, and go play with the leaves. Jump in a pile.